All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Apollo, and we're going to talk a little bit of StarCraft. Let's go ahead and pull up that bracket, take a look at our next combatants and where we're at. You can see Stardust will be facing off either against TargA or duckdeok. Now let's talk a little bit about TargA. Yesterday, not the best day for him. Today, he's looking to improve. What do you like about his chances?
I think one of the best things is that he practiced for MC, a Protoss, and now goes up against another Protoss. So I think that's kind of nice for him not to have to change race over just a single day. So I think that his practice will help him today. But it's duckdeok. It's the reigning champion, even though he's been dethroned. And I'm pretty sure he would like to be another player that can join MC for 2 back-to-back season finals, Season 2 and Season 3. So I think he's going to put up a really strong fight, and I think this could be very difficult for TargA.
It's going to be a good series. Now let's take a closer look at TargA with this video.
I'm hated by some people because of my trolling. I joke a lot on Twitter. The problem for the public, though, is that they don't know me. They don't know that I'm fucking around. Same thing, if I say something stupid in an interview, I'm most likely fucking around. Same thing if I say it in game, I'm fucking around. And people get really mad. And DreamHack Valencia, which was my first big tournament, my first time on a stage that size, Rachel Seltzer was the host. She said that people were comparing me to In Control. So I thought I would be funny and say that I don't really care too much about it because he's very bad at StarCraft. But he's not very bad because he's still one of the best and of the American players. And some people got mad. Kind of shows how esports is. Like 1 second they like you, the next second they hate you.
Hello.
As the host of WCS Season 3 European Finals, I can just say, I'm not that bad at StarCraft, actually. I'm pretty okay. No, I'm just kidding. Really funny video. TargA does have a sense of humor. And like him, I can relate to him in a lot of ways. We're both not winning WCS Season 3 European Finals. All right. What I was going to say, though, is that I, too, am just fucking around when I say dumb things. No, I'm just kidding. All right. You gotta help me out here. We're supposed to recover from this.
I'm trying to keep it in right now.
That's...
Yeah, so his next player, his next opponent. duckdeok.
Goose.
Yeah, the goose. Oh, excuse me. That was really funny, these last couple of moments.
어렸을 때 꿈이 잘 모르겠고 초등학생 때부터 프로게이머가 꿈이었어요. 저 혼자 그런 꿈을 가지고 있었고 그 꿈을 가지게 된 이유가 친구들이 자꾸 그 스타크래프트 1 박정석 선수 닮았다고 해서 그래서 더 열정적으로 빠지게 됐어요. 제가 공부도 안 하고 놀러만 다니고 하니까 좀 뭐라도 좀 해보라고 응원해 주셨어요. 오히려 잘 됐다면서. 제가 집에서 팀을 입단하기 전에는 연습하는 거 일일이 다 신경 써주시고 연습할 때는 다 조용해 주신다고 해야 되나? 다 저를 배려해 주시고 뒤에서 밀어주셔가지고 그렇게 됐어요. 또 팀에 입단하게 될 때도 저보다 엄청 좋아하셨던 것 같아요. 우선 성격이 굉장히 중요하더라고요. 게이머 생활해 보니까. 그래서 부정적인 생각들을 다 긍정적이게 바꾸고 그게 가장 중요했던 것 같아요. 노래 듣는 거 좋아하고 또 자전거 타는 것도 좋아하고 그냥 제 성격인 것 같아요. 제가 그냥 감정적인 면에서 솔직하다 보니까 바로 드러내거든요. 저는 그래서 그때 바로 눈물이 나더라고요.
And we're back. Couple of great videos there. So duckdeok, TargA, you were saying that you think this is going to be very interesting. You think duckdeok is the defending champion. He wants to get back in there. But what about TargA? This is a guy that, as you said, he prepared for MC, who I don't want to, I mean, I don't think MC and duckdeok have very similar styles, but what they do share is I feel like kind of that more aggressive brand. They're not looking to go to 5-6 bases, super mega late game. They're trying to get a pretty big advantage in the first 15 minutes. So I feel like TargA's pretty prepared for this.
Yeah, TargA, even though he lost yesterday, he actually played really well. And there was just small adjustments that he could have made, and he could have potentially won. So it's definitely possible for him to be able to beat duckdeok. You know, duckdeok got wiped out 3-0 yesterday, and he talked about a very important factor that I think we should consider now, is his mindset. Losing 0-3 yesterday and coming into a new day. Is it a new day? Is he still remembering what happened yesterday? And he needs to kind of win this game. His season finals, his global rank is at threat at the moment. Only being ranked 14 out of 16. He wants to go to season finals. He could still go to BlizzCon.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's a huge deal. I think this is something that we've been talking a lot about all weekend long, but those WCS points, that BlizzCon tournament, that's a chain of events. I mean, this fifth place spot, gets you to Toronto. That's a big deal, $5,000 extra, more WCS points. But beyond that is that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's BlizzCon coming up in November. And at 14, that's the floater spot. A couple of these guys, they leapfrog right over you. How bad would it be to be that bubble guy, 17 or 18, and you're looking on at BlizzCon not participating?
Yeah, and his chances are really high to make it to BlizzCon. He really needs this win. It's very important to him. TargA, on the other hand, I don't think he's really looking at BlizzCon too much. He's just taking every game by game. But if we, compare the overall end goal, it's much more at stake here for duckdeok.
More at stake, but again, as you said, I mean, and TargA's taking each game at one at a time, and that extra money, that prestige of taking 5th place versus, just one of the guys that didn't make it, that's a big, big deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the players. Let's go ahead and go to the commentators and get this thing started. It is going to be Grubby and Kalaris.
Thanks very much, Sean and Jeff. All right, we have our second series to determine who advances on to that final series for that 5th place spot. Pretty cool one, actually. TargA versus duckdeok.
Yeah, and they'll be going up against Stardust, the winner of the other one. The winner of that will get that 5th spot. But for now, TargA versus duckdeok. duckdeok looking mortal this season, surprisingly so. Looking mortal and a little bit cold, because he's wearing a jumper now. So making sure that he's stable going into this series. As TargA, surprise, surprise, gets rid of Akalon Wastes. Do we see Polar Knight removed from duckdeok? Will it go? That's what we expect, of course. Yeah. Oh, okay, interesting. Well, there you go. There's the first change of the season. Yeah. What a sudden turn of events. TargA recalculating the possibilities in his head. And let's see. He's always a cheery fellow. He's always a cheery fellow, is TargA. And then likewise is duckdeok. duckdeok's actually been hanging around in Europe for a little bit. Saw him here for the entirety of the round of 16. Practicing quite a lot here as well. And we're going to have to see how this is going to match up, because this one is a bit more of an odd series for me to predict, because like we saw TargA yesterday, in my opinion, get really destroyed in Mind Game Wars by MC, who were prepared so thoroughly well. If duckdeok hasn't prepared so precisely as well and just brings standard aggression to the table, TargA's very good at shutting that down. Yeah, that's a very good point, and it may be exactly that situation that we're looking at, because the first match is always going to be the most prepared one. And after that, it's going to be a little bit more spontaneous. Of course, you could prepare for all 7 opponents that you're going to face completely meticulously, but is that necessarily the best usage of your time? To say, I'm going to have a special approach for all 7 opponents that I'm facing. Most likely, the first one is the most prepared one, MC TargA. And then after that, you're just going to, maybe you prepare some, but you're just also going to really coast by on your fundamentals and your basic strategies. Well, here we have duckdeok, and it's important to note that our first map is actually going to be Polar Knight, one that we haven't seen too many Protoss favor. Yeah, so I think TargA jumped at the opportunity to play it. He's like, you didn't veto it? Great, let's play that quickly. Yes. So TargA, it's very clear that into that first game, he already has a little bit of an advantage just off the back of that, I feel. Yeah, and this was also TargA's winning map against Naniwa, the second series, where TargA qualified himself for today's matches. Very memorable game from that man right here, TargA, as he was able to adapt against his opponent, Naniwa, and then just mix in, a lot of queens. He was like, oh, you're going to make Void Rays? Time to make all the queens in the world. Yeah, and anyone who has ever seen 10 queens, 10 Void Rays shooting at 1 queen for a few seconds knows that they are very beefy. They are not armored unit type. Of course, in StarCraft 2, different armor types take different amounts of damage from different types of attacks. And some certain attacks, they do more bonus damage to armored units. And armored units, they're plentiful. Roaches, Ultralisk, buildings. But Zerglings, Hydralisks, and Queens do not take bonus damage from Void Rays, so they are more effective in those situations to survive.
And then we have Polar Knight. And now that you mention, you know, all the different armor types, that was what I used to do at the very beginning of Wings of Liberty. I based my entire PvZ around Archons because I was like, everything's biological. And then Archons do bonus damage to I'm going to make as many Archons as possible.
It's freaking genius.
It was great fun.
Yeah.
I lost quite a few games, admittedly. But well, Polar Knight, as you said, is our map. And again, this will be a difficult one.
When I first started playing StarCraft 2, I went into F12,
Yeah.
the unit help file.
Oh, yes.
And I was playing a live game on Score. Wait, it's that map with the backdoor rocks. Oh, the desert map. This is desert map. Anyway, it was
Blistering
this map.
Sands.
Yeah, Blistering
Yeah.
Sands. It was a ZVZ, and I was on one base. They were on 3. He had roaches, like 50 roaches, and I was like, how do I counter it? F12. It says Ultralisk counter roaches. And I went one base Ultra and I won. I kid you not. Anyway.
You went one base Ultra and you won.
Yeah, they're really good against roaches.
Wow, that's an impressive result. Well, okay, let's get into this second series of the day as we have TargA and duckdeok matching off to see who advances on to play against Stardust. As we have, spawning up to the northern position, our red Protoss, representing MVP as well as Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for duckdeok. A lot of fans for duckdeok. He made a lot during Season 2.
They clap together.
Yay!
Yeah.
And spawning down to the bottom as our blue Zerg, representing Dignitas as well as Norway. Give it up for TargA.
I hear some feet in there.
I hear a rumbling.
Now, forgive me the pun, but this is a bit of a toss-up between these two, isn't it?
Hey. In what sense here, Grubby?
Both their styles, they are both very aggressive, TargA and duckdeok, and I think they're also both very good at defending. It's really hard to predict what's going to happen between these two. duckdeok defeated TLO on his way here.
Yep.
He was still playing online. In the round of 32, he played TLO twice and he beat him twice, and he used a lot of 4-gate aggression, and he just straight out won. And that's why I feel like he leaves a map like Polar Knight and removes Whirlwind, is because he likes to know where the opponent is, so he doesn't need to scout. And then just has a little bit more of an efficient build to do a very strong rush. But TargA stays on very low drone counts to defend this kind of aggression.
Yeah.
And that can be used against him, like we saw yesterday with MC.
I really like the strong justification of that position for, you know, getting rid of Whirlwind. It makes a lot of sense. And, well, here on Polar Knight, I'm curious to see what duckdeok's actually going to bring to the table, because it is, regardless of map vetoes, it is one of the harder maps here for him to play out. And I suppose getting it out of the way at the very beginning is a pretty good position as well. But hello, TargA does what he loves to do against the Gateway Expand.
Yeah, double hatchery into gas or pool. It looks like it will be a pool. So he'll probably make a spawning pool, then maybe one more drone, then a gas, and it means that his speedlings will finish around 6:45 or 7 minutes, which is about a minute after the first earliest warp-in aggression from Protoss. So he'll have to cover 1 minute worth of attacks potentially with just speedlings, queens, maybe spine. Sorry, with just slow links, queens, and maybe a spine
Until
crawler.
Speedlings, yeah.
And then he'll have speedlings, and then he can also do counter aggression if duckdeok's defenses are not sound.
And, well, TargA likes to get himself up to a very strong economical position with this build. And then eventually, if a big 2-base push from duckdeok does to come, for TargA, it's relatively easy to hold off. He is one of the European kings at positioning with surroundings. So force fields don't mean a whole lot to this guy sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta pick where you fight very well against him.
Yeah. Absolutely, you need to be up against a wall, making sure that nothing's going to be hitting you. But at the third base of TargA, there's a lot of room. So shutting that down with force fields, that's pretty difficult.
Yeah, a big challenge indeed. The best place probably to come from would be the left side. There's a tiny bit of an alley going on there.
Yeah.
On the left, on the top of TargA's third, this alley. But TargA will definitely look to bring units from the top as well as from the bottom, if he is defending there. Speedlings have started, and a Stargate for duckdeok, and along with 2 additional gateways. Now this can go a lot of different ways, James. It can be Oracle, Phoenixes, Void Rays. It can be with Zealot pressure or without. You can save up sentries at home or start warping in. There's a lot of ways this can go.
Yeah, we'll see what duckdeok wants to do with that. He certainly has a lot of options available to him. And duckdeok can play out a lot of them very, very well. We've seen him change up quite well throughout the past 2 seasons of WCS. And, well, there's the Phoenix do begin. Gateway's just going to finish in a second. And just plenty of drones here for TargA at the moment.
And the first probe is on the map, and it's sneaked by everything.
Huh.
There's a Zergling checking the top left of the map.
This is where I placed the pylon.
This is a good place.
It's
because
a very good place.
it's like, it's just outside of the Zanaga tower vision, but the person feels like that area doesn't need to be covered.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Well,
he finds it.
very good scout here by TargA. It can be all too easy to miss that location and chasing that away. But the Zealots are already warping in. Those Zerglings can't really combat those Zealots just yet.
Speedlings have finished. 24 Zerglings
Whoa.
in production, and along with the 12 that were already there. 36 Zerglings against 3 Zealots, outnumbering 12 to 1.
I think he might be able to shut this down pretty easily looking at that. duckdeok hasn't committed to any more warp-ins, and that's very wise, because that would have just been actually completely obliterated.
Now 3 Spore Crawlers, as he's on to the fact that duckdeok is adding in Phoenixes into the army as well. 3 Phoenixes are on the map, so TargA so far seems to be ready for everything.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He certainly is, and his drone count's all right. Yeah, it was all right before as well with 36 drones. Of course, there was a little bit of a committal to these Zerglings, but following that up with a wave of 11 drones while still going for this aggression, forcing a photon overcharge as well. This is a good start here from TargA.
Yeah, that's it. That's all he really wanted to do. Make him use that photon overcharge, makes quick thirds harder, it makes any follow-up attacks from TargA better. And there's no double time warp in the attack anytime soon.
12 more drones on the way. TargA is going completely gun-ho, realizing that he knows he shut down his opponent's aggression really, really easily. Yes, there's these Phoenix still around, and throws down extra Spore Crawler for good measure. But, you know, once that Spore Crawler's down, 2 at every base location, makes it so hard for Phoenix to do anything.
Yeah, those larva injects really good for TargA, and he is pulling ahead in the worker camps. Photon overcharge actually still active. It was not a second one.
It lasts forever. But now it has dissipated, so he could poke in again, but that's by the by. As behind this, he's getting double evolution chamber. He's got his Roach Warren going down. Now, TargA has 2 obviously big swings, as do a lot of Zerg players, you know, with the range or the melee choice. If he goes for that melee choice, he's not completely unfamiliar with going for big ultralist plays in the long term, but I think it's probably going to be to ranged here. Because it can work out really well against duckdeok.
Yeah, it depends what he puts duckdeok on. duckdeok actually added a Robo Bay and is going to be starting Colossus production soon. He's still in 3 gateways, so I'm thinking he wants to take a 3rd and then add extra gateways. Maybe he's waiting with the gateways to make them at the 3rd so they can form a kind of impromptu wall there.
Okay, well, it was going to be one or the other, and it's going to be melee. So, as we said before, the Ultralists are where he eventually goes to with that, but it still provides a really strong mid-game. Zerglings with speed, especially if you end up doing this, running into the main as well as the natural. It forces a lot of response.
Some probes going down. Not too many. 4 probes have died or so, but more are coming. There we go. 5th probe dies.
And again, another photon overcharge happens, so that leaves the 3rd base relatively vulnerable here if you would want to pressure it. A lot of Zerglings in production.
And you know what? It's really good to do these kind of things, because against a Phoenix player, when you make them more focused on their defenses, the Phoenixes become completely inactive.
Yeah.
And Phoenix is the type of unit that you don't want to just save up and make it part of your army composition. You want to be very active with them. And anytime you're not picking up stuff, you're not killing as much stuff, you're not realizing their potential. So that was good for TargA, and as you said, the 3rd will be more vulnerable without the photon overcharge.
100%. It's like he comes back with that mothership core. He's like, right, I need to stop this way. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have any photon overcharge. That's bad. That's really, really bad. The Zerglings here trying to wrap around some of those else, but at the same time, this is pretty clever by duckdeok. There's actually not much to deal with this.
Big attack, big attack. A lot of Zealots, 1 Colossus too.
Ooh, that 1 Colossus. Oh, doesn't want to die to Zerglings though. Run away, run away. Guardian Shield does soak up nothing from these Zerglings right now, but for good measure with that Colossus.
Wow, nice round with the Zerglings against the Colossus.
It's going to die, it's going to die. He's flooding in with it again. Nice force fields, trying to keep it alive, but it does end up going down to the Queen as well as the Zerglings. That alleviates a lot of the pressure, but the Zealot's still doing all right.
It was a very key snipe on the Colossus.
Yeah.
The longer it stays alive, the more it clears up those circlings, and then it could just get out of control. But now, sentries are gonna die, roaches are chasing, and that's a smart recall. Only one sentry survives, and that's painful. But somehow, the third survived.
Yeah.
He had to pull back his links to kill that Colossus. It was a good choice by TargA. Very, very good cutthroat choice.
At the same time, though, a good choice by duckdeok to pressure at that point, realizing he had to buy time for that third.
Yes.
So very, very important moves from both players here. As +1 air weapons as well as 2-2 has begun for TargA. And even adding on those corruptors as well pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good choice because duckdeok is relying on his Colossi to keep him alive right now. Roaches are very beefy, and if the corruptors take down the Colossi, ooh, nice try.
Oh, and that opens up a big, big hole at third. He could actually try and focus that Nexus down if he wanted to. That's a lot of roaches that could do damage, but he decides to pull out, play a little safer.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe he was afraid that the same thing would happen to him as would happen to Nurture before. Kill the third Nexus, then lose to the counter push. If he committed all those roaches, he wouldn't have a lot of standing army, just corruptors. So he's choosing to wait with committing with the roaches until he has corruptors too, and I think that's a good choice.
Very, very wise. But now duckdeok is amassing a pretty strong army. He's got the Colossi out. He's adding on Void Rays, which can dish out massive amounts of damage to this army. But again, everything of TargA's focus here, he's holding the mid-game with roach-heavy play, but he wants to transition onto Ultralisks. He's looking for that. And it's going to come sooner or later down the line, I feel.
Yeah, that infestation pit is a sign of things to come, beautiful things to come, if you can call Ultralisk beautiful, which I wouldn't, but some people would. 12 corruptors, I think, is the magical amount. There's 11 on the field, yeah, 2 more are coming, and I feel like when he has those, he wants to go, go, go.
Yeah, and also, you know, once that hive ends up finishing, but because he has these corrupt accounts out, if he can deal with the Colossi well enough, he has the opportunity to go into Broodlords as well, which is something that TargA loves to do. Not Broodlords necessarily on their own without Ultralisks, they need to be complemented by the Ultralisks for TargA's game plan to thoroughly play out. But now he's setting himself up a pretty cool flank, but good force fields.
Very nice force field bait out, and it looks like TargA's going to wait for 2-2 for his melee, and that's going to be his marker. But that allows duckdeok to catch up right now in supply. And I don't know if this is going to go well for TargA. It's going to be very hard.
Again, coming in from both sides here. Corruption goes down on all of the Colossi, and he focuses one of them down very, very quickly. Second one at the back will end up falling. Is there enough Void Rays to hold this off? No, there is not. They're not going to be able to deal with this, but at the same time, the ground army, the Stalkers, trying to win out against those roaches, and I think they'll just barely kill them off, but losing all of those Colossi is a big deal.
Yeah, very big deal. He also kills a key Immortal, and that leaves TargA with 60 supply up.
54 Zerglings now on the way. Remember, they do have 2-2 upgrades, so Stalkers against them alone is not going to be enough. He absolutely needs more Colossi numbers, corruption on everything as well, realizing his opponent is in a really weak spot, has to blink back, has to get back to that Photon Overcharge.
Did you see how he used the Corruptors to bait a blink, and then suddenly the Lynx came in and he killed a bunch of Stalkers?
Ah, that's so good.
5 bases now coming for TargA against 3, and he's putting pressure. How does he do it? Lots of Roaches and Lynx coming out. Really good upgrades on the Zerglings, so they do very cost efficiently against Stalkers. Can he get us around on the Stalkers? They already blinked once. He moved back there for a little bit and will only kill 1 or so.
Just trying to do what he can, continually corrupting a lot of those Stalkers and making them as weak as possible. Broodlords is the follow-up behind this. TargA feels as he has the advantage. Broodlords are going to be able to seal in that advantage even quicker in this game, even if he doesn't actually just kill his opponent. Here, he's 100 supply up.
No splash damage.
GG! GG, and TargA takes the first game here against duckdeok. Very impressive game, but that was his map to win.
Yes. Yeah, that was a hard third to hold for duckdeok. He did well as long as he could, but TargA, yeah, he reigned supreme. Yeah. He killed the Colossus off in that fight, kind of lost the fight, but he achieved his objectives, let's say. There's always a number of objectives to achieve. That was it for him, and his follow-up push was very strong.
A well-played game in game number 1. But now, duckdeok, I don't think he'll take a huge amount from that, as we said previously, with that being TargA's map. duckdeok will obviously see that and be like, right, that was melee focus, that was blah, blah, blah. But
yes, especially that.
Other than that, going on to a map like Yonsu, this is an opportunity where duckdeok could play a bit more aggressive if he wants to and try and catch his opponent off guard.
As soon as duckdeok got into the lobby, he immediately said ready. So he probably doesn't seem to be too bothered. He doesn't need to go into like, oh my god, let's go think about this. How do I beat this? He is such a good player. So probably he's like, okay, you play like this. Maybe you play again like this next game. I know what to do. So I think it's only going to get harder for TargA from now on. This game, you could call it maybe easy, with at least, you know, with TargA's skill level and the way he executed it. It will get harder, but will that be enough to overcome TargA?
Will it? There was still a lot of room there for TargA, despite, you know, we were saying the map's good for him, but there was still a lot of room. A lot. There was transitions coming off the back of that. That didn't have to kill his opponent outright.
Great Aspire didn't come into that game yet.
Oh, all right. Game at number 2 are now on the way between this Dignitas player and MVP player, as we find out if Norway can defeat Korea or if Korea can turn it round here in game number 2. Spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner are Red Protoss, representing MVP in Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for duckdeok. The focus of a champion. And spawning up to the top right-hand corner, representing Dignitas as well as Norway. Currently 1 game up. Give it up for TargA.
Do we just see TargA taking triple hatch before spawning pool every game?
Oh.
And is duckdeok gonna respond in anger? Is like, don't do that, I'm gonna proxy gate you.
I would be very surprised if he did that every game.
Yeah, but maybe he could. I mean, he could. It worked really well for him because he defended the pressure, the Phoenixes and the 3 Zealots, and then he could remake so many drones. You saw that. Because you have all those larvae. But let's see, duckdeok making a gateway. Gateway expansion.
Here's the one advantage I feel on this map that really goes in TargA's favor. He goes out with this drone, he throws down a hatchery. Does the Overlord get there quick enough to see the gateway before he makes a choice for the second building? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Well, actually, you can turn him around. Like, you want to build the 3rd hatchery, I think, at like 2 minutes 40 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
so
it's too late.
You could turn it around, but it's not going to be as efficient build because your pool will be delayed. So.
But he still could go triple hatch. I mean, there's all the wealth in the world for it.
It looks like he's not, because he's not sending out a second drone.
There we go. That's just the spawning pool. So TargA playing this a little bit more calmly. And I don't blame him in the slightest. Again, Yonsu's a very, very small map. There's a lot of things that Protoss could end up doing. He's going to see the gateway and know exactly what's going on.
Okay. So TargA's Overlord comes in, sees the absence of a pylon, usually means it's a gateway build, and the gateway usually also means it's a gateway build. So TargA knows what's going on.
He does. And how do you fare on Yonsu? How do you like this map in this matchup?
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. I think it's a good map for Protoss against Zerg, and also just the moment I saw it, I like it. Like just the overlay, it meshes well. I mean, like the overview of the map, like how the bases connect. There's a lot of bases, so there's room to maneuver. But it's not like as big as Frost and Whirlwind, where if someone makes a secret expand, it still takes years to get there. So I think it's a really interesting map. And I, for one, am so excited to see such a rapid, quote-unquote, map rotation in StarCraft 2.
Likewise.
In the beginning of StarCraft 2, kind of stuck quite long with the same maps, the Daybreak syndrome. But now, 3 new maps this season. I'm hoping for 3 new maps next season. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, like let's say
really
take
cool.
out Whirlwind, Derelict Watcher, and Akelon and replace them with 3 new ones.
Not Belshire? Oh, did you say Belshire?
No, I think we can keep Belshire. I mean, it's like...
That's following the Daybreak mentality.
Yes, it is following the Daybreak mentality, but anyway.
Oh, well. I like this map purely for visuals alone. It's like a good jewel site, as opposed to a bad jewel site.
Very well
Or
said.
just jewel site.
Yeah.
But anyway, Stargate goes down in the wall. Actually, not in the wall, sorry. That's up on the high ground. So a little bit harder for TargA to spot.
And it's not the most obvious place for Overlords to swoop in. Look at the Overlord on the left. If he sends that in at the 7-minute mark, he's probably going to swoop right down, a slight curve to the right, check the middle between the 2 bases. But it's right here in plain sight. An Overlord could see it and still get out with his life, and that's something you don't normally expect to see it there.
Yep, there's that 3rd base going down as well for TargA behind all of this, with speed being added on just to keep him defended against the normal aggressions that we see from duckdeok. And 10 circlings, just make sure nothing's happening. Nothing.
So far, it looks like identical build from duckdeok. Gate expand into Phoenix 3 gate. Did he manage to sneak a probe on the map again? Taking a look at his vision, I don't see any probes on the map. Maybe he's not going to do it, maybe he's going to bring it with his army this time, but we aren't sure yet.
I think if he were to do it in this situation, TargA's looking so well prepared. Roach Roaring went down at 6-minute mark. The Zerglings are already flooding out, so this is already pretty impressively defended again for TargA against duckdeok, who just doesn't seem to be going for it just yet.
And if you look in the main base of duckdeok, there's that Overlord, and it's going on exactly the trajectory that I was talking about. The sentry was trying to kill it, but it was partly a bait. Draw the sentry away, get some damage in on the wall at the front. And that Overlord didn't see anything, but the Zerglings saw the Phoenix, so that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well,
It could be fake. It could be fake.
Could be fake, yeah.
But now it's killing the Overlord.
How much energy does the sentry have? Well, it just used a force field, right? So how could it have ever had that much energy?
If
we think about it really
If you
in
think
depth.
about that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's the photon overcharge. Making sure that you can save a gateway.
Yeah.
So that was a good bait out there from TargA in the end.
So this is starting to look like a methodology for TargA. Like just make 12 Zerglings, poke at the front, make him use photon overcharge.
Seems to be coming out for a lot of races. Terran do it against Protoss with a few Marines pushing out. TarGA's starting to do it here. And it's not too bad because, again, we saw that there was an opportunity for him to do a third in the first game, but duckdeok reacted very well to how that happened.
Now this Phoenix is starting to get some kills. This is 3 Phoenixes, a 4th is coming. We've got an Observer on the way. Do we see duckdeok go for a Robobay again? Before going into a 3rd, like he did last game? Not sure yet. He's getting a little bit more unit kills now with the Phoenixes.
And the Robobay follows up.
So duckdeok is doing the same build, and you can tell a lot from a player from the way they play, like how they think. Doing the same build now against roughly the same build from TargA means I messed up in other areas not pertaining to the start. I did something wrong with my unit positioning, maybe that move out with all the Zealots and the Colossus and 4 sentries. Maybe that was wrong. I'm going to play it safer now. I feel like you are a player who's very impulsive. You keep wanting to attack. How about I go ultra defense mode and hold anything that you do? I feel like that's what he's thinking.
Now that I think about it, I think duckdeok, yeah, he sees that first game, he's like, I lost a Colossus to Lings.
Yeah, to 10 Lings.
That didn't go so well. So, yeah.
It's not supposed to happen.
No. So I guess, yeah, he can look at it like that. And, well, picks up a Queen and is going to get that kill with those 4 Phoenix. Voidary is going to follow this up with Colossi. And again, this is a very strong army composition from duckdeok if he's able to gather full momentum.
Yeah.
And the 3rd base here is going to be harder to punish for TargA, I feel.
Yeah, and duckdeok is playing a lot more defensively this game. It's it's a better 3rd to take than on Polar Knight. He's breaking the rocks now. He's starting Void Race earlier. So he's going into full defense mode, I'm sure of this. And TargA will, of course, try to attack.
Good block. Making sure that those Zerglings aren't going to get him. And the Phoenix for now, just not really doing a whole lot. He got like 1 or 2 drones there, actually. 3 in total, in fact.
Yeah, I think he cleared out that extractor.
Yeah. So that denies a little bit of the gas mining. And when you're playing a style like this that we're seeing from TargA, which is all geared towards, you know, the mid game is like very, very mineral focused, and every little bit of gas that you can get for that later stage is very, very important. So,
especially if you're making a Spire, maybe going for Mutilist. But TargA tried that yesterday. Going for early Mutilist didn't work very well. Maybe this time, once again, like last game, it'll be for Corruptors. Roaches, Zerglings, and Corruptors to take out the air.
Roach is going to hold the mid game as well, with a lot of them now flooding out. And the 4th base does get taken over to the left-hand side, but this has been a problem zone for some Zergs in the past. And something that I have been able to actually deal with myself is that I don't like that 4th.
You don't like it? I thought it was very interesting, because yeah, normally people don't do it. Let's get that straight, right?
Well, it's the positioning more than anything. It's the fact that his units haven't been able to kill the rocks towards that top left 4th, or even the one down to the middle, which I think are much easier to defend than that left one.
Yeah. But it is a bit of an oddball choice. The Phoenixes so far are assuming, they're reporting back into Tassadar, saying there's no 4th on the field, so it's going to be full aggression. Wow.
He just misses that by
Tassadar is going to be angry.
Yeah, he is. Those Phoenix, they're not doing their scouting job properly enough. Oh, he's going to go back and see it. Well,
okay, you can come home now.
Tassadar's happy.
Yeah.
He's baked you a cake.
Yeah.
All right, well.
So, 5 Corruptors, 2 more coming, and 2-2 started. This time, 2-2 is a little bit later, or at least the game situation is different. I don't think he can wait for it this time. He already has the Corruptors. He's going to max out soon Waiting for 2-2 now would be practically nonsensical.
Yeah, he's just going to keep going with that. Trying to populate this left-hand base as well. If the creep had spread over to that location a little bit, then it would have been easier to fully defend against. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible for him to defend against because he has super mobility with Zerglings and Clear Constitution Roaches. But this is annoying. I mean, this would have been easier to deal with had it been at any other location.
Yeah.
2 spawns.
So let's take a look at the army composition. We've got 3 Colossi out, 4 Void Rays, a 5th one coming, 12 Stalkers with Blink, no +2 yet. TargA, he's got 10 Corruptors, 19 Roach, and 56 Zerglings with more coming. He's not attacking yet. Maybe he really does want to wait for 2-2.
The 3 Colossi are just going to absolutely mash through this army, though, surely.
Yeah, duckdeok is in a better position than he was last game because he just concentrated on basically, let's say, turtling and making a big Protoss army. He hasn't committed any units except that one Zealot over there on the left. So he doesn't have much units losses.
Nope, he's kept himself really well sat at home. He's only lost 300 resources worth of units, actually, until that Phoenix died.
Typical.
Yeah, totally typical. And he's even starting weapon upgrades for the air as well, so this Fortress Colossus army is going to be so strong very, very soon. But at the same time, TargA, he's playing to his strengths and he's playing to where he feels most comfortable, which is that Hive and straight up to that Hive tech.
Yeah. Now, a lot of Zergs might be wondering, watching this, how do you engage an army like this? And I think it can be hard, but in 2 versions, like twice, you need to move back once Prismatic Alignment goes on, and he's not moving back.
No, he's just going to try and focus down those Colossi, and one of them also dies at the back, not only from the Corruptors, but also from the ground units that were hitting away at it, but still, the Corruptors do end up completely melting under the firepower of the Void Rays.
Now, he killed 2 Colossi, and maybe he killed like 2 Void Rays or so. So that's decent. He's taking down some Stalkers now, but there's Blink. duckdeok can remax on a lot of Stalkers and get a really cost-efficient army against TargA. TargA's mostly making Zerglings. Let's see if he can sweep the floor out from under duckdeok or not.
He needs to find some way to do that, because duckdeok right now is just powering across the map with a very, very strong army. There's still a lot of DPS in this. Those Zerglings, though, if he gets the wraparound with this 2-2, could spell doom here for duckdeok. There's not that many force fields.
One Queen goes down, second one Queen goes down. They're very good against Void Rays. He needs those Queens. Zerglings wrapping around the whole army.
And even killing off Colossi there. Oh dear me, this could go really badly for those Colossi. They're trying to be hunted down by Zerglings again and they're gonna die. Oh no!
Wow.
duckdeok! It's happened twice!
Zerglings counter Colossi, guys. You heard it here.
It's happening. Oh, but at the same time, a really, really good move here by duckdeok over to the left-hand side, knowing that that base was always a good point of contention, trying to do some damage with the Zealots. But with the Roaches coming back after dealing with the army, TargA is doing this. Look, he knows the Void Rays there. He has the Queen numbers. 5 in production at any given time.
5 Queens in production, joining the 6 that are already there. Non-stop Queen production from TargA, and he's playing this so smart. Such a good army composition. And this is also how he played against an anyone.
That second engagement was so cost efficient for TargA in comparison to the first one. He was down by like 4,000 resources lost, but he evens that up so much, so only now 2,000 difference in the resources lost. Roaches are going to have to retreat from this third base even. duckdeok's 4th base, it can't be broken just yet, but once TargA gets that remax going, hey, look how much gas he has in the bank.
Now, this is a very crucial moment. TargA cannot afford to lose this hatchery, both in terms of losing production as well as mining base.
Tiptoe.
Run! He has a lot of transfuse.
Imagine if this base was somewhere else.
Transfuse!
Oh! Well, it does end up dying. Nicely done there by duckdeok. And he's certainly keeping his hopes alive in this game. I would still give the edge a little bit to TargA here.
But there is a window of danger for TargA. He's got something going for him which will make him as happy as a kid with Christmas. But he's got to wait for that Greater Spire. Infestors are coming. 11 Infestors. We do have Pathogen Glands on the field already. But where is Corruptors? He doesn't have Corruptors, so the Greater Spire is not instant salvation for him.
Get ready for Wings of Neural Watawa.
Wings of Neural Watawa.
Yeah,
which is very dangerous. That's how you sound if an Infestor takes you over, because Zerg doesn't have language.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Yeah. Well, we've illustrated that point pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
12 Queens and 11 Infestors. It's going to be really good against Void Rays, but there's only 4. And there's +3 coming with a third Colossus and 22 Stalkers.
Oh, that stings.
No Neural Wadawa?
No Neural Wadawa. The wings of Neural are now gone. They've flown away.
The wings of Neural!
Transfuses! King Transfuses! Boss Transfuses, saving that. Oh, and now he knows. Oh, he knows. Look, the fleet beacon's on the way. He's going to try and transition into Tempest.
But there's no Broodlords yet. There's no Corruptors and Broodlords.
That's true.
But fleet beacon is always pretty safe.
Yep, it's pretty
Always good. +2 attack on Void Rays, more Stargates. That's 2 joining the 1 Stargate that's already there.
Actually, that's true that you make a point there. It doesn't have to be Tempest.
Yeah.
Void Rays is still very good against this as well. And the Ultralisk Cavern comes down, and now TargA is trying to gear up for that ultimate combination that he loves to go for. Ultralisks, Infestors with Neural ? And then those Broodlords.
Neural fill in here.
Dude, I love watching Neural in pro games, but it's rare you get to see a chance of seeing it.
Yes. Neural is on the field. I don't think he's going to steal a probe and start his own mothership core.
It's going to be Tempest.
Tempest. Tempest.
What makes you shudder about that?
It's a big range.
Ooh. Scary.
All right, so 3-3s on the field. Ultralisk Cavern is coming out. Both are well snug, situated on 4 bases.
Okay, now I'm really enjoying this base down to the bottom right for TargA, actually. He's like, yeah,
It's very innovative.
it'll do. It'll do.
Whatever you do, Roaches, don't walk to the right.
Nope. And whoa. Uh-oh. Bye-bye, Phoenix. Your time has come.
I think they did their part.
Yeah, I think so
They
as
told
well.
Tussler about everything that was happening, all TargA's dirty little plans, and now it's time for them to move on and make way for the new generation, which is Tempest.
Tempests are like just bigger Phoenix.
Yeah.
And
They grow up so fast.
They do. They're like the daddy Phoenix. Well, there's going to be a lot of Corruptors out to deal with that. I mean, he already saw the Tempests, right? Like with the I heard the noise of a Tempest, which is like that. So
it's pretty hard to miss.
Yeah, it is pretty hard to miss.
Yeah.
Drones go to a base. The Zealots. Well, the Zealots going to come around this
He saw
location.
them.
He did.
And he's just sending 4 Roaches, which don't actually beat 6 Zealots if they're on attack command, but 5 Roaches do, easily. Yeah, there's a 5th Roach.
And duckdeok's also getting Storm as well. So likewise, whilst we see TargA building the ultimate force, we also see duckdeok building the ultimate force.
Look at TargA, he's getting 4 upgrades at the same time, and duckdeok only 3.
Wow. That's a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, that's 1 more than what duckdeok is doing. Big fight starting, and I'm not sure TargA was completely ready for this.
A lot of fungals, also Neural Parasite onto these Tempests here to try and kill off some of these
Kill the
units.
Colossi with the Tempest.
He's killing off the other Tempests.
Oh, yeah.
But then once that's dead, you need to focus down those Colossi.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God. The counter to Colossus is Tempest.
It seems so here in PvZ. But now the Queens, they're still alive. They were always alive. Nice feedbacks, though, on a lot of these Infestors. Will whittle that down quite nicely. But the Queens are still there. They will end up dying, though, if they're not careful.
We've got a 3 Mutalisk switch here. He could do some epic base trading with that.
Yeah, I guess he could. Only 1 lava. His lava injects haven't been there. All of his Queens were in that fight. How do you make units if you don't have lava?
Yeah. Yes, that's true. He has the money, but not the larva injects. Now, those Queens, they did serve a purpose in that fight. They weren't completely sleeping at the job for no reason.
Yeah.
A lot of Stalkers on the field, but they're going to be going up against 6 Ultralisks. Now, oh my God, those 3 Mutalisks. Look at the production tab.
Wait.
You sly little bugger. TargA made 3 Mutalisk and is forcing any number of Phoenixes. We don't know exactly how many yet. There's 3 on the field now.
Practically going to be dead weight unless they...
he cancelled them.
Did he?
Wow.
Oh,
At
good game sense.
99%.
Very good game sense. Very good indeed.
And nice scouting.
And now he needs arguably a second Robo if there's going to be a big, huge committal to Ultras. He's only got 1 Robo right now going for Immortals, but he only
Stalkers
has...
do decently against Ultras if you can kite away and you don't get fungled. Now maybe if you ask TargA nicely not to fungal, but I'm not sure that TargA wants to listen to that kind of request.
Nice snipe out. Nice snipe out. I suppose he only has 3 Infestors right now.
2 more coming.
And he has a billion gas, so he could actually make way more Infestors if he wanted.
Now that's a good snipe out, but what does it do for him in terms of timing? Like, okay, he kills that, he loses 6 Stalkers and he kills Hatch, but if nothing happens, if he doesn't use the sudden lull in economy for TargA right now, then that's just 6 Stalkers lost for 300 minerals. Eventually, if they're both gonna mine out, you know, that doesn't do anything, that just loses duckdeok resources. And he's not max right now, so I mean, it's like good to snipe a base, but he didn't kill any drones, so
Yeah.
TargA's already maxed. He has a lot of gas, so I'm not sure how much it's really doing here. But you gotta try and make something happen, right?
I'm wondering how quickly TargA will actually look for an engagement. I think he's waiting for his creep.
Units lost step, very, very
close.
similar.
Yeah.
TargA's mining more, ergo, TargA has a bigger bank.
Vipers coming in as well, just to pull those Colossi out of position. But the High Templar's already out, so the feedback dance will begin pretty soon.
Now, what is this? More Zealots being lost, and it's not that he doesn't want Zealots in his composition, he's making a new one. There we go, Anion Pulse Crystals. Now, this is a preparatory upgrade. He's just getting that in case he needs to make a Phoenix switch. He's not gonna mix in Phoenixes now and shoot from afar at lifted
This
roaches.
is really clever. This is really, really clever. Because once TargA
the right
loses
thing to
all-
do, yeah.
Yeah, because once TargA loses all of this, there's always the opportunity. Look, even +3 air weapons
Yes.
is on the way. So TargA has that in the back of his mind always, while still having this very, very strong army to try and pressure his opponent with.
Yeah, they're playing on the same level here, really. They're both
they are.
preparing for the same happenstance.
This is a it's a really, really good game. It's been a little bit slower than most of the you know, big high octane games that you see, but the decision making from both of these players has been on point.
Yeah, phenomenal. We see some units being split off again. 3 Zealots and 2 Stalkers or so.
The Archons come to the rescue for a few of those units and do get them away here. Zerglings actually have a really, really high damage per second with Adrenal Glands and 3-3, so they do still have their place, but obviously Storm rips them apart, so you have to be careful about how many you mix in.
It's a very sick army composition. It's nice that it's being shown here by our observer Funka. 10 Queens, 8 Ultras, 6 Infestors, 2 Vipers.
And the Creepers gained him a good position, so you know, he can start to be a bit more active around this location. Maybe push it a little bit further. Obviously, he does want those queens with the army at any time. Transfuses are very important.
Oh my god, is this a fight that's happening? I don't see how they can avoid a fight now.
Good storms here, but there's a lot of transfuses left on these queens if he keeps going with them. Nice neural parasites as well, but the Ultra swinging in from the side. But at the same time, the supplies are still very, very even. duckdeok with those Immortals, sorry, those Archons in the middle, they've been holding their own. The Colossi have not died.
Wow,
There's been no way to negate that damage.
You keep transfusing those Ultralists, they stayed alive for so long, but I'm very surprised here by the Remax choice of TargA. He went for 7 Ultras and not for Mutalists just yet.
This is interesting, because Ultralists take a long time to come out, and by the time they get out, he's going to lose quite a bit of this base.
Yeah, he's probably going to lose 1 mining base, and where are the Ultralists going to pop? I see a lot of eggs here. Is that Zerglings or Ultras? At least 1 Ultralist there. Maybe more. This is very scary for TargA. If he loses Ultras here, it can start to cascade downwards for him. Phoenix is in production. duckdeok says, I think I can handle any ground armor you have now if you're making Mutas.
And those Ultralists get caught between a rock and a Stalker, unfortunately for them. As the more Ultralists coming from the bottom, but they're isolated away from the entire force. He's trying to wrap around and bring the other Ultralists to one another, but duckdeok, he sees where they were.
They both have 1 mining base for minerals. And duckdeok has a lot bigger army right now. He's making Zealots, a perfect army to suit dealing with the Ultralists. But now comes the sandwich from TargA, but the sandwich needs 2 sides, not just 1, otherwise all the toppings fall off.
Yeah, and it's a messy situation for everyone involved, unfortunately. And TargA here, he's crumbling. He is crumbling. duckdeok. This has been such a good game from both of these guys, but duckdeok has just got that little extra flair here and taken a really good engagement, despite TargA having a very, very good concave.
All that gas, untapped potential for TargA if he had just more mineral income. So now we come back to that moment where duckdeok snipes the hatch, loses some Stalkers, and didn't fight too long afterwards.
Yeah.
It was relatively soon afterwards in the grand scheme of things in a 32-minute game. So it was really very crucial. That mineral income that TargA lost means he cannot be making 46 Mutalists right now.
And, you know, going back to that engagement, you know, whilst he did have the opportunity, he just felt kind of constricted by the movement speed of his queens. Obviously, it was always going to be harder for him to get into pristine position when going into that engagement. And as you said, the untapped potential of that gas is just sitting there.
Gas!
I'm clawing at the screen right now. You can't see me.
Yeah, he is. I see him, and I can confirm that this is the case. He's clawing at the screen.
All right. Well, more Immortals on the way, because what else do you need? There's
still mining from 1 base, just going to squeeze out the last units that he can. And I got to wonder, what would have happened if he didn't make 7 Ultralists, but 32 Mutalists? There were Archons on the field, so I feel like he was afraid that the same thing would happen, which happened to Nurture on Whirlwind, where 3 Archons torched all the Mutas. But I gotta wonder, base trade at this case could be scary for TargA. So he did what he thought was best, but the army was completely split off. He had Ultras hatching every whichever way.
Yeah, and now TargA, he's staring down the barrel of a shotgun here. duckdeok shotgun, it's a pretty big one. Look at the army. Look how big it is. 137 army supply to 58.
duckdeok somehow found the space to expand in a very nice location, bottom right. So
Yum yum.
he has the better army and soon the better economy. duckdeok really had to fight tooth and nail for this. Tooth and claw, what is it?
Tooth and nails also there, but the funny thing is that throughout the entirety of this game, duckdeok's always been splitting off these few zealots left and right, trying to do harassment each time, whereas TargA's had no such opportunity to do so. And duckdeok might just come in with the hammer blow here, because again, that army's so strong.
Yeah, like a hammer on an anvil. TargA was very hard this game. He was very strong. He kept himself alive. He kept expanding everywhere. But too many bases died. The one on the left, as you said, is a bit exposed. He didn't have the creep spread out, which is ironic considering how many queens he had. But he was just doing so many different things at once. Always mining his army spread more than, you know, throwing necessarily a creep tumor here or there. And you can see it. This map layout is very interesting. They had fights all over the place.
They really have. And TargA's, he tried to expand all over the place as well with that. But now duckdeok's just, he's slowly choking him out. TargA he's down on the mat. He's waiting for that tap out. duckdeok's doing really well about it. I mean, what's the need in him taking a straight up engagement and risking when he can continue to harass?
Yeah, and he's gonna mine soon from that base under there. Now, just now we had 180 supply duckdeok against TargA 90. And now we've got 160 against 100. So if there was a small chance for TargA, it's starting to open up a little bit. A little ray of sunshine is shining through this dark place which TargA is living in right now. And the rocks got closed, which I think duckdeok closed the rocks, which is good for TargA, I guess.
Yeah.
And now, some magical fungal growth, neuroparasite, and Ultralisk getting up close and friendly with Protoss army could conceivably, maybe, win.
And because of his gas bank, he actually has all the money in the world to make as many infestors as he would like. So there is certainly the opportunity if he stalls out the game, if he stalls it out.
Maybe, yeah, and he's getting closer and closer. Some zealots died, some more infestors being made. Every 100 minerals is an infestor. Every 100 minerals. So we've got 5 coming to join the 9 that's already there. And soon we'll see Wings of Liberty amounts of infestors. 20, 30, 40 infestors. And infested Terrans are not as good as they were. I mean, upgrades for Protoss is 3-3 on the ground. So don't throw up too many infested Terrans, except to absorb some hits. But Knurling, all the high-value units that duckdeok has, Archons, Immortals, Colossi, could turn half of duckdeok's army against himself.
Exactly, it's big, big supply numbers in so few units. Nice pickup with these Phoenix, actually. That has full energy, and he kills it. Very nice.
And he loses no Phoenix yet.
And he might even get another one. Doesn't exactly have full energy, but these Phoenix for these infestors, if he can get it, well, it's definitely a worthy trade.
4 infestors coming out, joining the 14 that's there. 2 Vipers are out. TargA slowly starting to form a very scary army again.
It's funny because there is certainly the opportunity that this could turn around on its head for TargA if he takes the perfect engagement. But Immortals are like the perfect unit against what we see here.
Yeah, because they double shot infestors. They, I don't know, something easy kill ultras. I don't know exactly how many shots.
Easy kill.
Easy kill, easy peasy. But also, don't forget the Archons. There's 11 Archons. They don't have damage type, armor type, so they don't take bonus damage from anything. They have 350 shield, which isn't upgraded though, so that's something. But they have a lot of life, huge tanking potential. And if duckdeok is in position, wow, he took down the edge.
Oh, very nice kill off there by duckdeok. That really now completely starves out TargA from his last remaining popular mining base. And, you know, the army supplies still kind of evening up a little bit. 150 to 115, it was a much more severe difference a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, is a fight gonna happen? TargA wants to make it happen now. It's gonna attack here. Neurals, Ultralis, Fungals.
A lot of Archons being controlled, turned against him, as well as a Colossus has been turned against him, but I don't think he has enough to actually tank for the Infestors to stay alive to do what they need to do. The Ultralisks have evaporated, and now so too will those Infestors, and duckdeok in game number 2 plays it out patiently. GG. Impressive play. Impressive play from both.
He evens it up, 1-1.
Yeah. We have a complete role reversal, Grubby, from yesterday. We had complete clean sweeps, complete quick series, but today it's all about those long games.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
It's very close between these guys. 1-1, heading into the next map. They both had their own favorite map. Well, their second favorite map, most likely, because the favorite map was vetoed, but their second favorite map. They won their own map. The third map is going to be TargA's third favorite. Derelict Watcher.
Oh yeah. Yep, he certainly is happy to play on this one, I can guarantee you that.
Now, I think they've both been playing consistently well. No huge mistakes.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Aside from Colossi dying off to Zerglings and giving me a heart attack.
But I guess it's just, you know, action-reaction kind of thing. Not like, oh my god, what a blunder.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There wasn't really that many units to really help them out at the front there, so those Zerglings always had the opportunity to really do something.
Yeah, no War Prism Wingman, so the Colossus was all out there.
Yeah, poor little guy being picked up by that War Prism would be quite nice. Yeah. All right, well, game number 3 now on the way between duckdeok and TargA. It's effectively a best of 3 once again. Same situation as our first series of the day, as we jump into Derelict Watcher to find out who can take the advantage in this series 2-1 and be very, very close to advancing on to play against Stardust. As we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner as our red Protoss even, I should say, representing MVP as well as Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for duckdeok. Down to the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Zerg representing Dignitas as well as Norway. Give it up for TargA.
What a nice smile.
That was yeah, it was.
Okay. Anyway, so we've got the pylon here at the top of the main ramp. So he's going to build his gateway there again. Any possible aggression he can wall off or keep his zealot plugged there, and TargA does like his run-bys. He has been employing run-bys, mostly successfully, to activate Photon Overcharge, kill some probes, get the opponent to have inactive Phoenixes, just mess with the opponent a bit. Didn't succeed in so many run-bys or harassment in the last map, which is of course quite a defensive map, Yonsu. TargA didn't have as many run-bys.
Yeah, it didn't work out as well for him. He tried. Oh boy, did he try. Trying to push up against those zealots that were on the wall, but no such luck for him in game 2.
He was not on the guest list this game.
No. Those zealot bodyguards, they know who to let in and let out. The Zerglings appear at your door, you're like, no, you're
really
not on the
hard-nosed
list.
about that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want them in them. VIPs only.
No.
See, zealots VIPs.
What's that?
Zealots VIPs? I guess so, they're very expensive. So they need
expensive
to stay alive.
guests. If you paid that much for a guest, they're definitely going to the VIP section. TargA.
Oh, TargA.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Identical build from duckdeok game 1 to huge eco advantage with the 3 hatch in the first game. TargA gave away that advantage in the second game out of safety considerations, and he's like, you know what? I don't need to observe safety considerations. Fire hazard what? He's just gonna go straight 3 hatch into pool, and I think good on you, boy.
Good on you.
Very good.
You don't need no extinguisher.
Don't need no extinguisher, except in real life, guys.
Yes, make sure you're safe.
Yes.
Good safety tips from Grubby.
Can't play StarCraft 2 if your house burns down.
That's true. You can't. You could go to an internet cafe.
You could, but then your house still won't come back.
No, it won't. You would be in a bit of a bad spot.
What we're trying to say is be safe, guys.
Be safe. Be safe. Take precautions.
Love yourself. Okay. So, same build still from duckdeok, and he hasn't scouted, so he doesn't know he's going up against his 3 hatch, but he'll know. You know, you can tell. If you scout at the 5-minute mark and you see the hatch is finished, or you scout at the 6-minute or 5:30, whatever, it's like, when you come in there, by the amount of creep that is already existing around that third hatchery, you can tell if it was an early 3 hatch or a pull into a third hatch. So either way, he should know soon enough, as soon as he decides to send something out, which actually right now he's not.
No, he's up to his old little tricks again, and he's just going to throw down the gateway and as well as the Stargate, and 3 queens start up at exactly the same time. Wait a minute, he's already on. Oh no, okay.
2 at the same time and a third a little bit later.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it works out when you go for Speedling. I've tried this Zerg build a little bit myself. It's like, yeah, the Speedlings makes it so the third queen isn't on time. That will be really sick. 3 hatch, no gas, triple queen, 4th hatch, only drones. It could work maybe. duckdeok isn't scouting all that much. But there we go, moving out with his mothership core.
This Zergling gets a free ride.
No! He killed a probe.
A free probe! Well, it wasn't free because it cost his life, but in the grand scheme of Zerg, it was free.
The grand scheme of Zerg, yes.
So
Kerrigan doesn't much care for individuality.
No, those Zerglings. There's that one that appears in the cinematic in the ship.
Oh, she loves that one.
She likes that Zergling.
That's true.
She really likes that
But
Zergling.
she would never send that one out on the suicide
No,
quest.
that wasn't that Zergling. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, you've got wild animals and you've got pets, and that was a pet.
Yeah. Well, this queen not having the best time against this mothership core. So a nice kill there. But
Wait
at
a
the
minute,
same
how many
time-
Zerglings is that?
That's a
Kalaris,
lot of
that's 30 Zerglings, Kalaris.
Zerglings.
I don't think he just wants to force a photon overcharge. Mothership cores across the map. He's got a recall and shoot with a
He has 1 sentry.
slightly enhanced stalker damage shot, or he has to fly home and use photon overcharge.
That,
In the meantime, dun-dun-dun.
at least he's going to have another force field, but the first force field was baited revealed quite quickly there.
2 Phoenixes pick up a Zergling. He killed it. Oh no, he killed the red Zergling.
Did he kill the red Zergling? No! Of all Zerglings you could get. And
duckdeok cancelled his robo to be able to afford the sentry. He cancelled his robo, so either way, this is usually successful already from TargA. He's making drones behind this and spores. duckdeok was supply blocked. He doesn't have a 3rd Phoenix. 2 Phoenixes don't do a lot. He had to lift Phoenixes. He cancelled the robo. A lot of things accomplished there for TargA, and he's got more workers.
he was slightly supply blocked. There was another sentry warp in. So it's... Wow, this is impressive. Of course, you do like sentries later on. They're pretty useful.
Yes, yes they are, Kalaris.
But the robo delay is a big thing. A big thing. Spore crawlers start to keep him defended at home against these Phoenix. And there's only 2 Phoenix, which aren't going to do a whole lot for a while.
Yeah. And now there's 3 Phoenix, and it's gonna look like that Carbots episode where they all pick up a unit at the same time and then go facepalm like, I thought
like,
you were supposed to shoot this one. Not a lot of energy left. 4th Phoenix is coming out. Robo and Forge are very late.
They are, but look at this. duckdeok placing down a bit more of an aggressive pylon early.
Smart move out here. We've got only 4 Zerglings with 8 coming on the way. TargA really went extremely into the drones. Now we've got 18 more links coming. I think he can hold it, and I think he can hold it relatively effortlessly. But this is still a smart move out from duckdeok, because if he hadn't, TargA would go straight to full gas on mass drones. And now he's forcing something. Roach Warren as well. Yeah. And this could be scary.
He got the probe, so there's going to be no more forward pylons. But that being said, that one is pretty close anyway. This is quite a strong army in itself. He doesn't have +1, so that's going to be a big factor in this. The Zerglings, oh, they get the pylon. No more units for you.
But duckdeok is going to come in. He can do triple force field behind himself, or on the main, or just go in the main base.
No, no! Why are you letting this happen? Okay, well, this is going to hurt. Really good force field initially. I thought he was going to try and just seal it off and just let the Zerglings come up through one at a time, but this is bad. Oh, he doesn't have any way to warp in, though.
Yes. Yeah, what you see is what you get. But there's a lot of sentries here. He can kill queens, he can kill drones. TargA needs roaches to pop out in the main base. If that happens, this is not a complete disaster.
Yeah, a few do, but they are actually sealed in by
counterattack
and Zealots. The Zerglings went over the other side. This is actually a pretty good move against someone who's just gone straight up into your main with some sentries. You can't get up there if your opponent's paying attention to it. And he could get in! He could get in! Oh, Zerglings! Oh, they weren't paying attention! Oh, he was paying attention to that ramp.
Wow.
Well,
4 spine crawlers. Wowzers. 4 spine crawlers, and we had 9 drones being killed, plus the spore. A lot of drones going away for TargA, and now suddenly he is 5 workers behind. He was sitting on 70, so this was no matter what a hugely successful attack from duckdeok.
What weird games we've had so far today, and well, TargA is going to continue playing this out against duckdeok, who realistically speaking here, with these Colossi coming out and Thermal Lance as well, these supply counts I don't think should be like this. duckdeok should be a little bit further behind here than TargA.
Yeah, but he killed so many drones, forced spines. And TargA only now halfway to lair. Very slow lair. So these roaches are slow. They're very easy to force field out, or in donuts, or any formation you want. It's kind of like baking cakes. You have a lot of shapes. You can use his force fields for that.
Little gingerbread man force fields. He like arranges it really nicely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gingerbread man force field formation around roaches.
Oh, they're not getting away from that. That's true.
It's a way to show personality in the game. I like going for starfish force field formations.
Yeah?
Yeah. The bad thing is it costs 15 roaches, 15 force fields. The good thing is you can kill a roach with it. So, War Prism coming out. Blink, +2, more gates. Nexus is coming up. And TargA is very late on lair, so he's making a Spire now, but all his timings are off.
That's a tough one. That is. These Phoenix also going to work on a few Overlords, and Thermal Lance is complete. So
And another move out for duckdeok. He's not waiting for this third, which is maybe what TargA would hope for.
oh, and those are the donut force fields. Those are the donut force fields. They get a lot. Just baking very nicely there in the middle of it all.
Yeah,
Done well.
that goose got cooked well. duckdeok now moving on the natural. Good thing for TargA, he still has those spines. Bad thing, no creep connection between the two bases. And no roach speed yet. It's only 30% done.
So many force fields makes this really hard for TargA. What can he actually do if duckdeok pays attention? And he retreats out. Ah, he saw the roaches with the zealots. He didn't want to have to force field both sides of everything to seal everything out.
Yeah, and it's like 1 second looking away, your force fields will come to naught.
Yeah. That's a lot of roaches. Wow, that is a lot of roaches. 33 in total. With Glira Constitution finishing up. But again, he's committing, is TargA, he's committing to the late game again. So we're going to see him draw this out. He's getting the melee upgrades. He's getting his air upgrades.
And 1 Corruptor coming out.
Yum yum. I don't think that's going to do too much against 3 Colossi.
That'll do you, boy. 1 Corruptor coming. Okay, 7 now. And he has to wait for more. Blink is done, as is +2 momentarily. So duckdeok really keeping up in the army size here. Now TargA needs to start spreading creep. You know that thing that we always say about Derelict Watcher, there's a lot of creep in front of the natural and the third, and it's hard to engage there. It's really easy for duckdeok to engage if there's no creep.
Yeah, there hasn't actually been any emphasis at all in this game for him. I mean, he's got 4 queens on the way now, so maybe this is where the emphasis starts. He just kind of compensates for earlier game emphasis with huge emphasis later on.
Yeah, he's emphasizing on emphasizing the right things. Yeah.
Well,
4th base in a funny location once again from TargA. The Prism didn't get spotted yet, I don't think.
no, it's just waiting there for an opportunity to jump in, and it's a great move. You know, he does have Blink, right?
Yes.
So
yes, he does.
Those Corruptors can't stray too far forwards against this army. He has to be very, very careful. He needs those alive to combat any of these Colossi counts.
duckdeok moving back again. What's he waiting for? Just wants to be utter 200 supply max, or is he going to wait for additional tech? He's posturing around the map. No pylon nearby quite yet, but I think I see a pylon down there. Not excellent place for reinforcements, but he will bring in another one. They're starting to say hi to each other.
They are. I've got to give duckdeok the advantage here. Maxing out at the same time whilst going for this Zealot Warp in. And TargA needs to take a very good engagement in the middle of the map as well. He needs a really, really good concave. That's an extremely strong Protoss army here.
duckdeok expertly pulling TargA out of position with those 5 Zealots there. TargA didn't know what to send back, and it took time. In the meantime, duckdeok gained some ground and is now getting great position.
Oh, good force field seal out a few of those roaches on the left-hand side. He's also using this position to make sure that the concave isn't as big, and it's working out really, really well. Those Corruptors are going to town on the Colossi. They're not being focused down by the Stalkers. The Stalkers just being used to blink back and focus down everything, but he blinks forwards, realizing there's not that much on the ground anymore.
It's a massive army advantage. Way better composition, and yeah, he just did everything right to get advantage by advantage. This fight was easy for him. That's why he blinks in. Normally you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's a way to lose, but that was almost like a manner blink in.
Oh, good blinks back as well, so he can just keep as much alive as possible, being as cost-effective as possible. The Corruptors, for all this time, they've been dead weight. He just decided to not focus on them at all, leave them there, focus entirely on the ground army, and that decision has paid off here for duckdeok as he moves through once again. Critical mass of Blink Stalkers, they're not going to die, as TargA is on the back foot.
Yeah, +3 is about to finish. That would really be the icing on this cake that he cooked here. And he's moving in for the jugular, killing everything here. Drones can't even get near. Yes, now they can.
There you go, GG. duckdeok takes it 2-1 in what was the most cooking-heavy cast of all time.
2-1 ahead.
Yes.
This is a best of 5, isn't it?
It is indeed a best of 5.
Yeah.
So duckdeok only needs one more map, and then he will advance on to play Stardust.
What's for dessert? That's what I'm wondering.
What is for dessert? What can this gentleman bake for us? He's gonna have to bring something very, very delicious to the table.
Yes.
Otherwise, because these games have really
Otherwise,
not
we
panned out
won't eat it.
we won't.
No, we won't.
Nope.
Only the best pies.
Only the best. The duckdeok seems to be bringing right now.
Now, the maps that are left are Belcher Vestige and Frost. Belcher Vestige is the 4th, so that is the pick for duckdeok, and Frost is the unwanted one. The kid that didn't get chosen at sports for any team. That was me, actually. It's really sad.
Oh.
But Frost is there, and it will get played, because in the end, everyone gets picked. Now, Frost, I'm a little surprised that TargA didn't pick it up earlier. I guess Polar Knight and Derelict are too good to leave, but Frost can be really good too, especially if it's cross-map. There's a lot of time to react to the opponent attacking. You can pull up your resources and larva. But for now, we've got Belcher Vestige.
You know what's weird is that looking at this graphic, I've actually never really looked at Belcher Vestige from that angle that much. If you look at it, that's the sideways on. You always look at it up and down, right?
Yeah, you're out of the map, basically. This angle, you don't look at the map from this.
This is weird.
And you know what's weird?
Huh?
This is not a round world.
No, you are correct.
It's flat.
That's true.
And you can see the cliff underneath and to the side.
That's all that is in Belcher Vestige. That's
Yeah.
like just the floating world of Belcher Vestige.
That's the place people choose to fight on a lot, apparently, because Belcher almost never gets removed.
There's a lot of fighting over plots of land that have no strategical advantage to them whatsoever, or no proper resources. Once you've mined out, you've mined it out. There's nothing there to go.
Yeah.
Why are you fighting over it?
Yeah.
They're just fighting for fighting's
somehow
sake.
the minerals regrow.
They do.
It's a kind of fossil fuel situation that I would love for us to have in this world.
Ah,
But we have to be more sparing, guys.
it's very deep. Very
Yeah.
deep, Grubby. All right, well, on to game number 4 here in just a second as TargA and duckdeok gear up for things.
Game 4. Score 2-1 for duckdeok. Can TargA turn it around? He was leading, now he's behind.
It's been so close as well. There's been
All games were good between these two.
yeah, they really have been, and it's actually been a pleasure to cast. I gotta say,
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun so far. duckdeok and TargA, they're now loading up onto this map. duckdeok only needs one more map, and then if he can claim that, he advances on to play against Stardust for that final spot of the Season 3 finals. It's all about that for these two players as we now load up to Belcher Vestige. All right, spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our red Protoss representing MVP and Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for duckdeok. Yeah. And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our blue Zerg representing Dignitas as well as Norway. Give it up for TargA. All right.
How did TargA lose last game?
How did he lose last game? What happened again?
He did the early Zergling attack,
Yes.
cancelled the Robo. Oh, okay, yeah. So there was one risk. He made so many Zerglings early. We said he did a lot. We said he obtained advantages. But then there was that 8 Zealot 4 Sentry attack.
Exactly.
Let it get up the ramp. So Derelict Watcher, although it can be difficult for both races to play on it, there's one really interesting characteristic about it. The space from natural to natural, there's no Zelnaga towers covering it, so that being very vigilant about that middle of the map movement becomes absolutely crucial. Quintessential, one could say. Now, and it's also a pretty short distance, so that short distance was bridged by duckdeok in no time, and then suddenly, oh my god, you're at my main ramp. TargA, he had that advantage, but there was an inherent risk. He went back straight to drones, and because he didn't see it coming with just 4 Zerglings on the map, He let the units get up, and I feel like that was the turning point of that game.
Yeah.
So that means that there is no reason for TargA not to try triple hatch again. That was fine. His decisions, they were fine. He can play it maybe a bit more safe. Don't do the Zergling bust, even though I feel like it was fine. His follow-up was slightly erroneous, but it works, and that's why he's doing it again. Triple hatch, stick in with its guns.
He certainly is, and I feel that if he does triple hatch in this game, which he is doing already, so I shouldn't have phrased it like that, but since he's going triple hatch already, I don't think, if it goes into a game number 5, I don't think he would do it in a game number 5. I think, even though it's Frost, it is Frost, right?
I think he would. Oh,
You
yeah,
think he
no.
would?
Yeah, maybe on Frost it can be dangerous because people sometimes open up with Forge, but I think he maybe would or could.
Yeah? All right.
But maybe there won't be
Well,
a game
we'll see.
5.
We'll see.
Or we won't. Then we'll have to ask him.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll tell the truth or not.
Yeah, well, of course.
Oh my god, my mind. It's
Oh, dear.
exploding.
We're going around in a circle, but now we'll see what TargA can spot. He spots the 2 gases, he spots the Nexus, he saw the gateway, so he knows what's up, and he's going to be happy with his current setup back at home.
Yes.
Coming up.
There's no risk to TargA at this very moment. Making his 2 queens, then he'll start his speedling upgrade, and then his 3rd queen. 2 links on the field to do map control. Sentry is coming out. Sentry second unit after Zealot. Of course, Mothership Core is gonna scout out the opponent's base maybe now, but for now, usually actually duckdeok moves out at around 5:20 or 5:30. For now, he's just keeping a look on this. 2 gateways coming, maybe a 3rd one.
Yeah, the probe's sticking around. Looks like it will be. Oh, straight.
It's not a Stargate.
Ooh.
We have the first deviation so far.
Now, why was that probe sticking around? Does he put the 4th gate in the main if he wants to do it?
Or a 4th and a 5th. Who knows?
Ooh, that could be
Who
cool. A
knows?
5 gateway. Well, he has a lot of opportunities to do it. We've seen him do it in the past. Forge.
It could still be 5 gateways.
Good.
But for now, it's 3 gate and Forge. Zealot, double sentry, no scout yet. Now, 6 minutes. We have a Mothership Core moving out, as well as a probe. Will the probe get spotted?
He did certainly sneak by that Zergling at the top, and this Overlord, looking for those extra gateways, or at least some tech, just anything, hasn't really spotted anything. But this pylon, sneaky probe, very sneaky.
Little probe. 12 drones in production.
Oh, gee.
A little bit rolling the dice. TargA
He's-
doesn't really know what's happening. Normally he doesn't go this quickly to 46 drones.
Yeah.
But what I do like is that he's changing up his very core playstyle. He's like, one game I'll do this, one game I'll do another. And he's not just doing it because this time it's going to work better or he's countering. 10 drones! He's just doing it for the sake of changing. And yeah.
That might not work out too well.
Yeah, it is a bit blind. It's a bit rolling the dice.
Yeah, time warp there as well. There's no units to combat this. There is 1 Zergling out in the field as well as these queens. 10 Zerglings now start production. But by the time they get here, there's going to be 3 extra Zealots. If they position themselves within this mineral line area, this is under a lot of threat.
I don't see this hatchery surviving if duckdeok wants it dead.
He's just going to focus it. If he moves these Zealots around, there's almost no way that he can break these Zealots right now.
Now, okay, duckdeok doesn't want it dead. He wants it to be a really scary threat for TargA, and he wants to kill everything else that comes. Lynx, queens. He could have clicked it, but so far he wants to kill Lynx first, and now probably the hatchery will survive.
Yeah, they will. The Mothership Core died. No opportunity for any recall. Of course, he didn't really have the engines. There was a time warp anyway, but he pushes
nice
this
save.
back.
Nice save by TargA. But it has to be said that duckdeok chose not to kill it. He wanted to kill Lynx instead. That's a choice, and it cannot just be a blunder or a mistake. That's a choice. Maybe he knows something that other people may not.
Well, there's the Robo facility going down behind this. He's moving out with the Sentry. He's going to come along with these Zealots as well. There are more drones in production. How many did he lose? He lost 1. So there's really not too much need here for TargA to replenish that many drones. He can go to unit production and be sat on a very, very nice economy. The Zerglings are looking for this. They see it.
Now, I guess you could say that if he had killed the hatch, he would have lost everything. And he would obtain economic advantage, but lose map control. Now, he has map control and can take a 3rd. Wait, actually, he cancelled the 3rd Nexus.
Did he go for one? I didn't even see.
Yeah, he was making
Sorry.
it. I was just saying how it was like, because he has map control, he can make the third Nexus, but he made it and cancelled it within Overlord vision. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe he wants to make TargA think that he's going for a 2-base all-in. Now he's remaking it again, and TarGA's on mass units. This is...
Oh, yeah.
I'm
there we
so
go.
curious about this. Did he make it and cancel it? Because you don't make a Nexus and then cancel it if you want the Nexus, generally.
This is true.
So the Zerg will be like, you're most assuredly going for a 2-base all-in. Only units, and now duckdeok moves back and plays defensively?
The funny thing is that TargA on this map is so good at holding off 2-base all-ins. It's so ridiculously good at holding them off.
But is duckdeok using that against him?
Yeah, that could be the case. +1 weapons is finished, and those Zerglings do get ripped up, whilst that carapace is not done just yet for them.
And now TargA feels compelled to stay on unit production. Since he started it, he opened that tap which units flow forth from, and now he doesn't want to close that tap anymore.
The power of Protoss compels you. Well, this Phoenix does fly in, have a look around, and see exactly what's up. Sees extra gases going down with this hallucinated Phoenix, but he's going to establish this third base.
And a
How
fourth
many
from
units?
TargA. A fourth from TargA. He closed the tap. New drones coming. And once again, that Colossus play with Blink from duckdeok. So TargA has been countering this so far in the whole series with Spire play. Now we see something different. We see an infestation pit coming out, which means he might be looking this time to counter it either with heavy ground or Viper play. And that's a big change here, a big stylistic difference from TargA this game. Now we did see on the natural of TargA, one gas wasn't mining. One extractor had no drones in it, and he corrected that. And that's very important for him.
Yeah, absolutely needs all the gas there as Evolve enduring locusts on the way. So
Wow.
actually he
Oh my god.
Whoa. Oh, those force fields seal everything in. The roaches, they need to go to work on those Colossi, but they're not going to get them. Zerglings try and wrap around for the Colossi snipe as well, but not this time. Oh, even sealing in a few of those roaches. This attack is disastrous for TargA.
Oh my god. I don't think he killed any units there.
I don't think so, but he's going to try and kill something at the third base. Photon Overcharge holds that back.
He killed one Zealot. And is there any reason duckdeok shouldn't waltz across the map and probably kill TargA right now?
The resources lost, it hurts. It's 1,000 to 3,200.
Normally you only see that with Phoenixes on high econ games, but this is a lower econ game without Phoenixes.
These two Colossi, they're going to dish out so much damage if he has the ground army to back them up, if the force fields are right as well. This fourth base, what can he do to save that?
Watch out, TargA, the Pain Train is coming. And he's still upgrading Enduring Locust, but no Swarmos yet. First two Swarmos comes, gets supply block, 3 Overlords in production. Oh,
But swarm hosts are not that great when there's small numbers of them. This could just be too late. Good force fields here by duckdeok as well. Transfuse is trying to keep some of these units alive. duckdeok's going to pull back.
Small respite for TargA. Small respite. Roaches threatening from the back.
Yeah.
That's how he pulled him back.
That's what TargA does best. He tries to wrap around this army, but duckdeok's not falling for it. He feels he's done enough damage. He's going to go home. Does he know about the swarm host play?
As of yet, I don't think he does, Killaris. He doesn't know about it yet. 78 drones. Huge income for TargA. About as big as you can get on 3 base. Almost.
Hive is now morphing in.
Re-establishing a 4th base. And duckdeok continues to make Colossi, attack upgrades, gateways, cannons, and stalkers. An army composition that can deal well with swarm hosts numbers of up to 10, I should say. About 10. Once there's more than 10, 12 to 16 swarm hosts, it can be really difficult to engage the Zerg army, and then you'll need to see a pulling apart strategy.
Well, I suppose for TargA losing that 4th base, this army, whilst he tries to establish a 5th as well, could come into use if he's able to buy himself a lot of time. 6 more swarm hosts in production. But the scary thing here for TargA is that, yes, there will be swarm hosts, and yes, they do have a long range, but on a map like Belshir Vestige, the 4th and 5th are very far away from one another. So can he defend both locations at the same time with an army such as this?
I think at this point he says, I'll expect to lose 1 hatch every minute. One time the left hatch, one time the other, but the other will survive.
That's a pretty hard thing to, admit to in the end.
Accept, yes.
Yeah, but you've kind of just got to do it. He's even pushing through the middle of the map here with a strong...
no!
Oh, swarm host! No! Blinks forwards, killing off one of them. Good transfuse. Saves one of them in the end as well. A second transfuse there to keep it alive. Force fields will hold these locusts back.
Locusts, of course, they are free. They do very high damage, they have a lot of HP, but they have to be sent in a direction. That's what duckdeok will need to try and abuse. If they're coming in a direction, quickly jump the other way. And if he can suppress TargA's expansion attempts successfully, there is a very realistic chance that duckdeok will not be able to, will not give away map control here.
Zealots looking to threaten on the left-hand side. They already caught the denial on that base, so they could go over to the third, but there are spine crawlers there, if I believe, so not too many against +3 weapons that's on the way in a little bit. +2 obviously is there. He's actually going to focus the hatchery. He's going to get this.
Yes, it was very low life. Beautiful snipe out there from duckdeok.
Oh, and he's actually got the Zealot Stalkers in the main as well. Where is he going? He needs to get those down. Run away. Yeah. Okay, so...
And now he finds, by accident, this base. And he will be able to kill it too.
How jolly.
But it's by accident because he was being mobile. He was having his stalkers in the main.
duckdeok's playing this game out really, really nicely. Yes, he's down in terms of supply, but that is by far not the story of this game.
Now, if Stefano could take over now from TargA, I could still say Zerk has a chance here.
Yes.
But with TargA showing a little bit of inexperience with this Swarmhost play, sending 3 Swarmhost into the opponent. Do you know how that happens, guys? It's what happens if you try to burrow all your Swarmhosts in the same place. There's no space, not all burrow, and then you rally your Locust on the opponent. And some Swarmhosts weren't burrowed yet, and they go.
You rally the ones that have just hatched out the hatchery.
Or that, yes.
That's a really, really painful thing to happen as a Zerg player.
Now, what do you think about Tempest?
I guess to eventually snipe out some Swarmhosts. But
double shot a Locust with 2 Tempest.
Double shot a Locust. Yeah. That's sick play right there.
Sick play. I don't know if I like Tempest, but I do see Korean programmers getting them time and time again. And I think part of it is shooting with impunity at the opponent.
Yeah.
You can't really expect to get vision of Swarmhost and snipe them out with Tempest. That's not a realistic situation. So I think part of it is that. But I think part of it is because many Korean Zergs, they transition to Broodlords after they have Swarmhost. And then at least you already got your Tempest out.
It's also like, I mean, duckdeok here was for quite a while clearly in the advantageous position in terms of economy. He sees these Swarmhosts. But the Tempests, long range, trading against Locust, long range, if you can actually do some damage to the main units. Oh, these Swarmhosts, they've gained themselves a really good spot, actually.
But there's so little creep spread. I think these Locusts can just kill the Nexus with how close they were deployed. But there's so little creep spread that TargA actually can't get home to defend his base in time.
Is this just going to be a straight-up base race?
That's
what it kind of looks like.
Yes, yes it does.
Spines are on the way. Now, this is interesting, because if you go into a base race situation against a player that has a lot of Swarm hosts, you better be ready for some quick dancing later on. Because...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Yes, indeed, Galaris. Now, if he could wipe out all the observers, I don't see how he could, but if he could, Swarmhost could be pretty dangerous. Now, they're both losing a lot of bases. TargA, I don't feel like he has enough buffer here. Oh, Queens versus Tempest. It's going to be a super fast fight. Very blitzy.
They're killing off all the Overseers, realizing that the Observers are the most important thing.
Yeah.
Which is very important.
Oh, transfuse.
Oh, and TargA knows that those Overseers are very important as well. But actually, there's really not too much. Unless that Spire finishes, there's not too much to deal with the Tempest. There's only really Queens.
Yeah, and they get outranged. And
by a long way.
As slow as Tempest are, Queens are slower.
Oh, if he kills that Overseer, there's Dark Templars waiting there to pounce. That's actually horrible. He doesn't have a layer. He doesn't have detection. The Tempest is still going to work at this. He needs to keep that Overseer alive. He's trying to kill it off. He's trying to focus it down. Good transfuses. It needs to stay alive.
Oh my god, I think TargA knows, right? He knows.
Yeah, he absolutely needs to stay alive.
Drone surrounded the DT, citizens arrest.
Oh, drone's dying off to thermal lances. That was brutal. And at the same time, he still keeps the Overseer. He has that one Overseer. Stay alive, Overseer.
Oh.
Ah, no! It's dead! It's dead! The Dark Templars, all he has to do is walk more in. Oh, but he only doesn't have that much gas. They're going to work!
He's got so many DTs, he's got 6.
He can't do anything. He doesn't even have an infested. GG! Well played!
Wow. 6 DTs.
What a series. What a weird way to end that game, but there you go. duckdeok will advance on to play against Stardust.
What a technical play between these two. They were very
Oh, it was awesome.
evenly matched. Great showing by TargA, but duckdeok once again pulls through. After being behind 0-1, perhaps figured out the way to beat TargA. TargA gave it his all. He made some mistakes, but he did a lot of things really well. And
Yeah.
wow, this is a great game, great series.
Great series. That was really, really fun to cast because it was all over the place. Okay, coming down to an Overseer dying at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
was-
I'm not 100% convinced that
No,
it came
of
only down
course,
to
of
that,
course.
but it was pretty spectacular.
There were
anyway.
other factors, definitely.
A few, yeah.
A few.
Yeah.
All right, well, that does it for that second series of the day. And oh boy, have the game's been really, really fun today.
Yeah,
And
been a
we
really
still-
good Sunday so far.
Yeah, we still have 4 more series.
Next one is gonna be the PvP between Stardust and duckdeok,
Yeah.
where the winner will get a guaranteed $5,000. He'll get a trip to Canada, Toronto, for the Season 3 finals, and a chance to accumulate enough WCS points to turn enough heads to impress at the season finals, to maybe go to BlizzCon. This is a really big honor to play for, and it all
Yeah.
comes down to this best of 5 PvP between duckdeok and Stardust. Let's see.
Yeah, let's. But before we get to that, we shall hear from one of the players who are playing in that game. Let's hear from MVP duckdeok.
All right, thank you, Grubby and Calaris. An excellent series, very close. duckdeok does edge it out there 3-1 in the end. I want to ask duckdeok about that game number 1 into game number 2. So game number 1 went very much so in TargA's favor. It was a pretty strong victory. Game number 2, there was moments there where it looked like you were kind of on the edge. It was looking pretty tough for you. So your thoughts on game number 2?
첫 번째 게임은 이제 타가 이기고 두 번째 게임에서도 엄청 치열한 싸움 끝에 이제 선수가 이겼는데 그 개인적으로 그 게임에 대해서 설명을 한다면
그냥 손이 잘 안 풀려서 게임이 잘 안 됐던 것 같아요.
Actually, my hands didn't move that well. My condition was not so good in this game, so it was pretty hard.
Okay. Finishing out the series, it went pretty much very much so in your favor. So I guess pretty much the questions I want to ask you about is this next upcoming series, because this is the one that really matters. You're going to be facing Stardust in a PvP. So I guess I kind of want to ask you your mentality, your attitude going into it. I know that yesterday Genius got the better of you pretty strong, but here against Stardust, do you like your chances? How do you feel going into it?
다음 경기가 엄청 중요한 경기인데 스타더스 선수 상대하는 데서 어떻게 생각하냐고. 왜냐하면 어제 또 PVP 할 때는 엄청 크게 졌었으니까 또 어떤지.
어제 지고 나서 PVP는 깨달았기 때문에 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
I learned a lot from the loss yesterday, so I am pretty confident in PvP now.
Okay, so he's feeling pretty confident, and it's going to be a very big match. Of course, again, just to remind you guys, this is the match that will determine that 5th seed. That's WCS points. It's $5,000 extra. It's a trip to Toronto. It's a big deal. We got that coming up pretty soon. But first, some analysis with Apollo.
Thank you very much, In Control. We're going to be jumping in to map number 2 here. The reason why I want to jump into map number 2 is I felt this was probably the most important game out of all of them. Game number 1, we saw 3 hatchery opening that TargA set himself up very nicely to be able to kill his opponent on the 3rd base with the same type of army that we have in this game. If we actually look at TargA's army, it's just about approaching 2-2 upgrades for his ground. And throughout the entire of the series, he had one strategy really that was the kind of winning, and that's his staple strategy and how he was going to attempt to win this series. It was Ling and Roaches with a lot of Corruptors, and he's meant to come in and basically destroy almost everything, while going over to Hive and Carapace now for his air, and looking to go over to Broodlords. That's what worked in game number 1 very nicely. In game number 2, there was a couple of small differences. For example, in the early game, he wasn't as risky, he wasn't as greedy. He didn't go ahead and take 3 hatcheries early on. He was playing a lot more safe. So first of all, that slowed him down. The second part of all of this is, from this point on, duckdeok said, I know how you're going to play. And one big change is Void Rays. So if we actually look at this fight here, duckdeok's waiting because this is the style that TargA is bringing to the series. He tried it in the next map after that and got killed by Blinkstalkers and Colossus. And then in the last game, he changed everything up. He went over to Swarmhost because he realized that his staple build had not worked or is not working anymore. So what we end up seeing here is a couple of Void Rays will kill unlimited amounts of Corruptors. They charge up, they do lots and lots of damage here, and then everything else gets roasted. Great force fields at the back here. And what ends up happening is this is a disaster. Because behind this, you're meant to kill all the Colossus. You're meant to now use your spare Corruptors that you're meant to have left over to go to Broodlords, and then play the game out longer. And I want to just pause it here. I don't want to go too much into this too much long, because it really was a long game, and the other games were just as long. But from this point on, is where duckdeok said, I know how to beat you. And then from here, this one going into a long one. The next one, it was a very similar style where duckdeok killed him before he was ready to do this attack. And then on Belshir Vestige, he went to Swarmhost, realizing that his play wasn't going to work any longer. And I really felt if this had maybe opened up with 3 hatcheries early on, been a bit more greedy himself, maybe hit this timing a little bit sooner, a little bit harder, and if he'd won this game, I think TargA could have won the series. Coming back from a 2-0, I think duckdeok would have had trouble to do that. But this is where the comeback started for duckdeok, and where he finds himself now in the final match to decide if he can be in that 5th place position. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching some analysis. I'm going to head over to In Control with social media, Twitter, Facebook stuff.
All right, thank you, Apollo, for that wonderful analysis. I'm here with Kalaris. We're going to talk a little bit about social media. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, hashtag WCS, both for that fan art submission. If you have any kind of StarCraft 2 art that you've been doing or want to do, submit that with the hashtag WCS, and you could win a collector's edition StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm signed box by all the players and the casters that are here. But also, just the hashtag itself helps us spread the word of StarCraft 2 and gets the message out there to people that perhaps otherwise wouldn't see it. It's a really cool way to do that. Also, make sure and follow ESL TV on Twitter. They've been pretty good-natured and funny about some of their tweets that they're sending out, but also informative about this tournament. And Claris, I understand you have a word for us about the sponsor.
I certainly do. About our lovely sponsor, Roccat, joining on for Season 3. It's a pleasure to have them along for the ride. They've been able to support things like Home Story Cup, as well as duckdeok during the past here in StarCraft 2. And all you can do is, we actually have a little competition going on. We've been giving away stuff throughout the entirety of the season, but if you head over to facebook.com/Roccat, ROCCAT, you have the opportunity of winning yourself a keyboard signed by duckdeok himself. All you have to do is head over to the page and scroll down to the little picture of duckdeok with his cheery, cheery smile holding a keyboard above his head, and leave a prediction for who you think is going to be the winner of the entire tournament. And then you can be in with a chance of winning a lovely keyboard.
That's right, guys. That's going to be going on all day long, but we are just about moments away from seeing Stardust take on that final match with duckdeok to decide who's going to be the 5th seed to go on to Toronto. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it'll be that PvP, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Hello people, I'm Demaga. I want to show you new cool features for Rocket Rise MK Pro mechanical keyboard. It's called per key illumination. You can switch on or switch off lights per every button on keyboard. Also, you can disable any button on keyboard as well. For myself, as a pro gamer, I disable all macros for gaming StarCraft.